talking about the wrong player to have at your table.
Yep.
And what that can do to the general vibe of the table.
The morale of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you get this wrong player, they might not fit your table, and they might work better at another table. That's fine. But some people are just bad people,
Yeah.
and that's going to bleed into them being a bad player because they're going to borderline sexual harassment at the table,
Or
touching
personal
people.
harassment.
Yeah, touching people when they don't want to be touched.
Bullying.
Yep.
Whether it's not letting people speak, talking over them, not respecting their opinion, sucking out all the fun, so they're maximising theirs and minimising everyone else's,
Yep.
which
Yep.
isn't what D&D is for.
Min-maxing everything.
Yeah.
Making their character be the only one that can
The
win
main
that
character.
fight. So without me, you're useless party.
Calling other players side characters
Yeah.
to the campaign. That's
Yeah.
that's just going to start issues. You know, people aren't going to want to play with you if you call
No,
yourself
then-
the main character and they're side characters to
Yeah,
your,
exactly.
you know,
My epic
epilogue.
quest, yeah. You'll pick a bad character, I think, very quickly on your table.
Yeah.
For me, the first things are they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
They're on their phones. You've sat down with them, hopefully in a zero session. You've sat down with them and gone through over the rule sets. You know, here's how I'd like you to act on my table. Here's how I'd like you to be. And within the first couple of sessions, they're already, you know, touching
Ignored,
people that
yeah.
don't want to be touched. They're already on their phone. They're already ignoring, talking over the top, taking the spotlight, doing all the things you've mentioned. And you're already going, look, at the end of the session, I need to have a chat with you.
Yeah.
You're having a chat with them at the end. Next session, the end of the session, I need to have a chat with you. You'll automatically know when you're starting to have to talk to this person on repeat that you've got the wrong player
Yeah.
at your table. Like you said, a good point. They may be right for another table. The flamboyant table over there at the game store that are
Yeah.
up in arms and yelling over the top of each other and, you know, are completely different to your table.
Yeah.
That may be the perfect place for them, but they're not right for your table.
They fit in that environment and
Yeah.
it just works for them. They're boisterous, everyone else is boisterous. But if you have a table where you're a bit more serious, focused, and reserved, someone who's overly laughing, touching people, joking,
Yeah.
24/7,
Yeah.
ruining the flow, and everyone else is on a different page, that's going to ruin the flow of the table.
Yeah.
And it's going to halt stuff.
And, yeah. What about you? You had any experience with...
What wrong players?
Wrong
I've had
players.
I've dealt with a few wrong players, not as a DM, but as another player. Ones that don't pay attention, or the ones that want to actively start conflict, like instigate conflict between two party members by using out of game knowledge or something someone has said outside the campaign to spite a fight that they're not a part of, but they started, kind of thing. I've
Okay.
had to deal with that occasionally, and that's just annoying because you don't want to deal with two people out there for it, because then the DM's going to be like either one person goes or both of them goes. In most chances, both of them will go, and then there's two players that you will have lost,
Yeah.
and
I've
they
seen
weren't
that
even the
happen.
problem.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen
you
that
know,
happen
yeah.
on the table. Yep.
Yeah, and it's
What about
just,
you?
One, for me, like the wrong type of player they'll either weird me out, creep me out, or that they generally make me uncomfortable and I don't want to play with them, is wish fulfillment players. They're there to fulfill their wishes, and that can be whatever.
Yep.
They want to be the main character.
Yep.
I'll leave it up to your mind to think of all the others. We've had a variety,
yeah,
and as a player on that table, the
Can become quite uncomfortable.
first place I want to be
is away from them.
is anywhere but at that table.
Yep.
You could be a great DM, but that one player will ruin the entire experience for me, and that will
Yep.
you could have that could have been a great session apart from that one moment. All I'm going to remember is
that
when that
moment.
one player
Yeah,
crossed the line
yeah,
a bit too far.
Yep.
And especially if he does it constantly, that's all your campaign's going to be to me. Sure, I might find good moments, but it's going to be hard to separate that kind of player.
Yep.
Because they're going to be constantly making it about them or
Yeah.
about fulfilling whatever desires they have.
So that'll be, you know, right up there with your rules lawyers that won't allow a rule
Yeah.
to slip.
Yeah.
constantly arguing with the DM. It'll come with, spotlight players who always want to be the center of a spotlight, and you've got something you want to say, but by the time it comes to you saying anything, you've already moved on from that conversation, so they've talked over the top of
You got
everybody.
the, metagamers or
The
the
metagamers.
stats prioritized people that are
Yeah.
just like, I know everything about these creatures, I'm going to blurt it out for everyone
For
else
everyone. Yeah.
and ruin it for everyone
To
else.
ruin
And
the mystery, or the obnoxious min-maxers that constantly critique other people's characters.
Yeah.
That is another gripe, where they constantly go, why'd you go that? That's less efficient, that's not optimized. You've made a mistake in your character, especially if you're a new person.
yeah.
You don't want an experienced person telling you you've made a mistake in your character.
Embrace the flaws you create.
Yeah.
If they can't, that's their bag.
If you've made a sub-optimized choice, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's great. Work
Flaw-
with it.
Yeah.
If you're a warlock and for 7th level you picked a bad 12, guess what? 8th level you can change it.
Yeah.
You can fix some mistakes, but learn to embrace them and have fun with them. And it certainly ruins the fun if you have that player that constantly mocks your choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not the kind of player you should have at your table.
Same as me with someone who's played a manual before.
Yeah,
And
that was what I was
you're
gonna-
sitting at the table with them, and they're like, "Oh, get ready for the next bit where the
Yeah.
blah blah. We're going to kick it up." I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear what's happening.
Oh.
This is my experience for the first time.
People asking what
Yeah.
module you're running. Like, as
Yep.
a DM, if a player's asking what module you're running, it's like you don't need to know that. Like, this is
Yeah.
what we're using. But like some people actually like, I've read this module before. You as a DM or even as a player, it's like, I don't. Why
What?
you know?
Why are you playing
Yeah.
if you've already read the story and
You know-
there's not much I can do to surprise you
Yeah.
apart from completely homebrewing
You know,
some parts?
And it's
That's
fine.
why
if
you
you
made
have
my
a
job
person that's
hard.
played all the modules, that's fine. But if you have played it, you should be very much a back character. As bad as that
Yep.
sounds, is like let other people discover the story because maybe you'll make a few things sleep. But try to make sure everyone else enjoys it because you might know it already, but they don't.
They're not a bad player to have at your table.
Yeah.
If they've already played it, they can assist. But if they're looking to play it
spoilers, yeah.
to optimise and
Yeah.
be the I know exactly what's coming. I know what to do here. And rather than letting you, who's never played,
Yeah.
solve that puzzle, they go, I know how to do it. Move that, put that there, done. Sit back. You've ruined it for
The
everyone.
big
else.
bad's blue dragon. I'm going to get light. I'm going to be a blue dragonborn, lightning
Yeah.
resistance. I'm going to prioritize lightning immunity for the boss fight. Like
Yeah.
that's same
they're,
shit.
they're not the right player for your
Yeah.
table. Other ones for me are people who constantly have a reference back to another player. So my other player was blah blah. My other player was blah blah. My other player. Well, what about the one you've got on the table now?
Oh, my previous character.
My previous character. They
Yeah.
can't. I'm happy for you to talk to me about your old campaigns. I'm happy to hear about other characters you created, but not on the table
Yeah.
while we're playing.
This
Not
campaign, yeah.
not in the middle of the campaign going, I'm not sure if this character, I might kill him off and create a new one.
Oh,
that
that's,
whole
yeah.
the whole bag of, I'm not as invested as I should be, so I might,
I didn't enjoy this character. I don't like this character. Can
Yeah.
you kill it off?
can you kill it off,
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. That's harsh as a DM to hear. Like that's
I
hard.
built it wrong.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
you don't want to hear that. Like no player has ever built a character wrong
No.
because
Yep.
you make mistakes.
It's something to
Yeah.
embrace. One rule that when I first played D&D 5th Ed, it was the before level 5 you can change your character rule. I've come to
Enjoy.
loathe that rule
Yep.
because I did DMing for a limited time and I had one player who changed his character like every 2 weeks
Yeah.
and it was, who are you today?
Yep.
Cool. Alright. That's how I don't even know if you'll be the same next week, so it's hard to
Yeah.
think about the future and how I might, I don't know, create encounters.
Yeah, it's hard if later on you don't have that party. I mean, I personally have a rule in my campaign. I'll play you up to level 8, and I'll give you the option at level 8. Right, if you're not happy
Yep.
with your character, you can create a new character at level 8, and you're going to play that from there on. If you're happy with the character, say now.
Yep.
It gives you up to level 8, where you actually I think I did it at level 5 as well.
You did 5 and 8.
Yeah.
You did 8 because 8 was when the big story was kicking off. That was
That was
town
where
fight.
that's where I was like,
And
from here on,
5
yeah.
was before we hopped onto the island, I think.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe, yeah. It was
it
early
was just a couple of moments in my campaign where I noticed there was players that weren't as invested in their character.
Yeah.
That I tried to give that option of, hey, if you're not invested, let's get you invested. Let's create a new character. Let's make a new backstory
before it goes
too far.
any up
you know?
the hill. Yeah.
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 It didn't work for me. Didn't
It's
work
a hit
for
or
me.
miss.
It's
I
a hit and
guess.
miss. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
might-
depends.
doesn't always work, but it's
Because some
worth
people
trying.
say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I hate my character," but then, "Oh, no, you're doing a good job," and we'll.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
it comes to changing that character, they get cold feet.
Because there's a lot of stuff they don't want to lose all the power they have currently because they don't want to be that weak person, and it's those people that want to optimize a character that will not re-roll a character because they know that's good, but it could be better, but I don't want to re-roll because I'll lose all that
Yeah.
potential
What if
already.
it actually ends up being worse when I re-roll?
Yeah.
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 Not only is there a wrong player, though, I also want to throw in there can be the wrong DM.
Oh yes, yeah.
As a player, you might
Yeah.
have a certain way you'd want to play, and your DM is wrong. You know,
Yeah.
that DM is combat heavy all the time. They said they were going to do story, but they don't. You know, that DM may have a personal NPC they bring in all the time. You know, we're doing a vampire campaign, and I've got my own personal vampire assistant I've created, and they work for X, Y, or Z, and they're all powerful, and you're going to have to follow my NPC, and everything my NPC does is going to be better than any of your characters, and there are wrong DMs. Don't be afraid to say to your DM, I don't think I'm the right fit for your
Yep.
table. You might lose a couple of sessions, but you know, there are no right.
Yeah, I've
Tables
definitely
for-
had my
yeah.
experience
Yeah.
with bad DMs. Well, not bad DMs, but wrong DMs.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
one of the campaigns I always had a DM that gave us very little gold and no downtime, and that really hurt for some of the characters who were like clerics and wizards who prioritise their downtime, so you begin spells to get material components like diamonds. If you've ever played cleric before, Revivify, 300 GP. If you get only 50 GP for essentially a week of downtime, and
Yeah.
you don't get downtime, you're pretty much just using whatever your venturing
Yeah.
funds to keep
Yeah.
the party alive, and that really sucks if you are that character because you're not going to have fun because
Yeah.
you're going downhill.
So
Yeah,
most things that apply to a player can probably apply to a DM.
yeah,
So yeah, like you said, don't be afraid to find your table. There's a table for everyone.
It might be worth, if you go to a game store,
yeah.
going there a couple of weeks and asking a DM, hey, do you mind if I sit at your table? I don't want to play. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah,
And sit at a couple of tables and see how the DM is.
or even the
You know?
players. Like you
Yeah.
might be like, I like these kind of players, and the DM isn't half bad, so you might be seeing that
Yeah.
because the other tables might be a complete like not what you're for.
Yeah.
That might be the closest you're going to get to good
Yeah.
in a game store. You might go to a different one, but at the same time, at least it's a table that you're happy with the people as
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah,
most
'cause
of the time, the DM will probably, if there is a break, will talk to that person, saying if there is any questions. Sometimes they might just not talk to him, but you can always talk to the other players if they're not busy
yeah.
as well.
Just be aware if you are going into a game store and sitting at a table, if the campaign's been running for quite a while, sometimes it is hard to write in
Oh,
a new
yes,
player.
yes.
So as someone stepping into D&D, if you want to do that, get a gauge of how far into the campaign they are, if they're willing to put someone new on the table. I know when you were campaigning at a game store,
Yeah.
we had like 8 players, and
Yeah.
the owner was always like, hey, you got room for more people on your table? We're like, any more than 8 players and you're waiting
Yeah.
45 minutes for your turn to come around, you've got to gauge where that table is at as well. You know, they might be the perfect table, but you might gonna have to say, hey, I really want to be in your next campaign.
Yeah.
You know, can you put my name down? I'll do whatever it
Yeah,
takes to
here's my
ensure
number.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Here's my number. You know, what kind of characters you want, whatever.
Yeah.
But some campaigns, if they're a fair way in, just don't have
Yeah,
room for a
'cause
new player.
I've had people
Yeah.
coming at like level 12 near the end of a module saying, hey, can we join? I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, it's...
We're two doors away
Yeah.
from the big
Yeah.
pad.
Yeah,
You know, it's a bit late to be
it's
joining.
3 sessions
Yeah.
until the end, and it's
Campaign ends 3 weeks from now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
and by that time, like rolling up a character level 13, like I've rolled a character level 5, and that confuses me sometimes. Let
Yeah.
alone 13 levels into
Oh,
it.
it's a lot to think about and
You know,
create.
magical items, like
Yeah.
oh cool, all these party have like 2 magical items or 3. Here you are with nothing, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, DM will give you one. Look,
but it's
just
the
be
same.
aware of what the table are at.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask to join a table, what level they're at,
Yeah.
how far in they are, that kind of thing. We're going to talk about speaking to players or giving players warnings that are acting up on your table. So let's say you've got the wrong player and they're doing one of the above: bullying, harassment, lack of respect, being a rules lawyer, getting in other people's personal space, anything else that
causing trouble.
causing trouble, anything that you've laid down as a table rule that you've said, this is not the kind of table for that, and they're breaking it. It's a matter for me as a DM of end of the session, if what they're doing isn't fully bullying someone or borderline, hey, I'm stopping the session right here,
Yep.
we're talking about this now, I will take that player aside privately,
Yep.
and I'll have a moment with them and say, look, Bob, in the table session I noticed that you kept
Harassing Janine.
harassing Janine, touching her on the arm and stuff. She seemed quite uncomfortable. I don't know if you're single, I don't know if she is, but can we not do that on the table? And
Yep.
Jim, I noticed that you kept, every time he touched Janine, that you kept, bullying him about it.
Yep.
We don't have that on the table.
Or even you might have egged him on.
Oh,
Yeah.
egged him on. It's a matter of taking that
Yeah.
player aside from the rest of the table and saying something. If it comes to the point of you've said it once and then you've taken them away and you've said it twice and you've taken them away and you've gone like, okay, it's the third and final.
Yep.
I've taken you aside. I've been nice about this. Janine's come to me and said
Yep.
she doesn't like you touching her. And I
Yep.
mentioned that
Yep.
to you, and you've done it again. I'm sorry, my table doesn't allow that. If you do it again, I'm going to stop the session as it is, call you out, and ask you to pack up your stuff on the table.
Yep.
And I'll do it in front of everyone. I'm giving you that warning now. My niceties are over. I've taken you aside a couple of times. If I see it again, I'm
Yep.
cutting that game right then and there. You, as a DM, may not have that kind of gusto in you enough to stand
Yep.
up. I've been under a DM who's very goes right in the face if there's
Yep.
something wrong on the table. They're not sure how to approach it. My advice then would be perhaps talk to another player
Yep.
and ask them. You seem like you're
Yep.
quite capable of talking to someone. Can you talk to them on my behalf?
Yep.
Or will you come with me
Yep.
and we'll both talk to that player?
Yep.
Or you're Bob's friend. Tell Bob
Tell Bob.
enough's enough.
Yeah. The whole idea of D&D is to have fun. It's to respect each other, to create a journey to go through, to have a laugh, to have a cry, have whatever.
Yep.
But if you have a moment on the table that's personal to you and you have a tear and then Bob on the other side of the table starts picking on you because of it, I'll be having a word to him because that was personal to you.
Yep.
That's
Unfortunately, sometimes it's gonna happen, or a player
Yeah.
is gonna do something that he shouldn't, and it might be uncomfortable. But you need to, at the end of that, it's your table.
Yeah.
It's not any player's table, but yours. You'll bring everyone together, telling them a story, and sometimes, unfortunately, it sucks. But you have to tell one player enough's enough, or stop that, cut it out.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you don't do that, it's just gonna keep creating a bad atmosphere.
Yep.
And you don't want that, because as soon as you get in, again, if there's a bad atmosphere, no one's having fun. So what's the point of doing D&D?
Yep.
If no one's having fun.
And that goes for the players as well.
Yeah.
If your DM is got his girlfriend on the table and he's like, oh, there's a loot pool and my girlfriend gets a sword. Oh, there's a gold pile and my girlfriend gets half of it. You've got all right to say to your DM, hey, look, I know she's your girlfriend, but I feel like I'm getting gypped
Yeah.
as your party member because everything's for your girlfriend. She's a druid, and every bit of loot we come up is for druids. So
We're here for fun,
Oh,
not
she
for
yeah.
you
gets
to
a
get
beast
laid.
companion. You're as a rank. She gets a beast companion, which is a polar bear, and you're here stuck with a small wolf cub. I'm a ranger, and that's my shtick is to have a companion.
yeah,
She's a druid. It's not meant to have that.
You as a player have as much right as the DM to take someone
Yep.
aside,
Yep.
especially the DM.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
talk to your
DM
DM.
should always
Try to keep your DM on the know, because they might rock up to a session thinking everything's fine,
Oh,
and
yes.
you've talked to, I don't know, Bob's a common name, Bob,
We like
and it has not gone well. You and Bob, after ending that conversation, absolutely spies each other. So come next session, there's still gonna be that rift and that
Yeah.
contention. So let your DM know what's going on.
Yep.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
On the upside, as a DM, not everyone's going to react that way, or you're going to have to be like that. Sometimes after the first warning, actually that's a valid point. I didn't even realise.
Yeah.
Because they might not realise it.
That's what we hope for.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
hope you take a player aside and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
Jill's actually pretty uncomfortable with you
Yeah.
leaning on her and touching her.
Yeah.
Can you stop that? Go, shit, I wasn't aware of that. I apologise, Jill. I'm going to sit on the other side of the table because I'm a handsy person.
Yeah.
You don't mind if I'm nudging you all the time and, oh, no, I'm all right with that. Cool, I'm going to sit next
Yeah.
to you.
You know.
It may be a matter of swapping where you sit. It may be a matter of
Yeah.
changing up your table. May be a matter of, Jill should never feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For me, bullying, harassment, your respect, your, the Nazism on the table, rules lawyers and all that kind of.
Yeah.
You should never feel uncomfortable. If you're in that situation, speak up. It can be hard.
It can be hard.
But if you've spoken up a couple of times and nothing's done, it's not the right table for you. As we said, wrong players, wrong DM.
Yeah.
If you've got the wrong DM and your players are speaking up and the DM's still doing it time and time again, then you go, sorry, I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah.
I can't deal with you catering to your girlfriend every session and the 5 of us get nothing. I'm gonna take a stand here. I'm packing up. I'm going home. Thanks for DMing for the last 8 sessions.
Yeah.
And if you get up and you've had the courage, Bob might go, you know what, I agree.
And most of the time it is a group of friends, it might be, say, a table of 5 people, there's the girlfriend, one random, and the 3 mates, and the 3 mates we're being cucked, I'm sorry man, but we can't,
We've spoken to you 3 times,
each
each
individually,
individually, that's 6 times you've been, 9 times you've been warned, you know what, I'm not sure what you want from us, and if you're comfortable, say it on the table in front of everyone, so it's not coming out of nowhere, it's in front of everyone, everyone's aware of it. The warnings, speaking to someone should always be your first protocol. Blowing up on the table is never good for anyone. So try and always take the diplomatic approach. If you can do it as a D&D character, you can do it as a human.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. Do it at the end of the session.
Yeah, that's one of the easiest ways of warning or speaking, because it will stop that right there. If they want to continue, then they clearly want to start some stuff.
Yeah, it's and you're going to get. Unfortunately, with humans, you're going to get that. We can't just because you're playing D&D doesn't mean you're not going to have, Bob, the character guy who's optimized everything and going to go like, oh, that's shit. Your character's not done right. Blah blah blah. Look, Bob, I understand that's how you like to play, but I'm happy with mine. Yeah, but it blah blah.
How'd you roll those low stats?
If you've told them over and over again, talk to your DM, ask your DM to talk to them. If that doesn't happen, sit elsewhere on the table. If they're still coming across, you still got shit stats, just go. Just
go.
Just kick them if you're the DM or the player, and the DMs will do anything, leave, we've been saying. But sometimes he could have come from a table, which is why you need to be understanding. He could have come from a table. Well, that was the norm. They're all constantly trying to help each other optimize. That shit, you should try this instead. And that could have been the norm for that table, so he's still got that ingrained behavior behind him. So just keep that in mind. As I get, talk to them. Extreme escalation shouldn't be your first response. Obviously there's this one bad moment with them. No. Give people a chance to change. As someone who has been a bad player and I just had the DM say, "Hey, maybe change this."
Yep.
I appreciate that because I immediately made an effort to fix my behavior.
Yep.
And I've stopped it completely because the DM was like, "Hey, maybe not do that," and this is why. And
It can only make you grow. I mean, if
Yeah.
obviously if the DMs had to come to you and say, you know, you might need to stop that, it's bothering people, then you might need to take a look at yourself and go, okay, I didn't know it was bothering people, but
yeah.
why am I doing that? You know, have a bit of inner soul searching, whatever it takes. You know,
How do you know something's a problem if no one tells
one
you
tells
there's
you.
a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you figure it out for yourself, but sometimes it's awfully helpful to have someone give you a hint or tell
Yep.
you.
So I'm a big fan of the speak to them 3 times. If they've done it after the 3 times, I'm done.
Yep.
You know, if you don't have the respect to listen to me, and
Yeah.
I've had the respect to take you out and have those moments and
Yep.
say, look, you know, it's the second time I've had a chat to you, mate. We
Yep.
need to put a pin in it. Like, you need to stop it. I'm going to put you on the other side of the table. Okay, this is the 3rd time I've moved you. I've spoken to you twice. You know, I'm not sure what else you want me to do here, but if I
Yeah.
see it again, that's it. We're done.
Straw.
Like, the straw camel, bro. You know, you've got to be able to follow through on your conviction. There's no use saying to someone,
Yep.
you know, no, I'm done. They're just going to go like, oh, he doesn't care.
They're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna eventually teach them that
It's
you
alright
have
to do
no
whatever you
authority
want.
at the
Yeah.
table, and that's not a situation you want to be in.
And if you're the DM and you've got a table full of wrong people, maybe
Just
just
walk away.
walk away.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to lose anything by doing that.
Yeah.
If they're your friends and they're picking on you like that, at the end of the session, say, look, guys, if you don't want me to DM,
Yeah.
I'm happy to stop. If you guys want to choose out of you who's DMing, I'll become a player. I'll take over their character sheet. They can DM.
Yeah.
And if they're like, oh no, we like your DM, so I don't like being your DM. Like, I'm not happy sitting behind there because you all pick on me.
Yeah.
You know, if that's the way you want to DM, then I'm not that person.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be able to say that. If they're your friends anyway, you should be
Yeah.
able to say that. So look, you know, I don't feel respected behind the table. You don't listen to what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not having fun as a DM, what am I doing there? You know, you've got to be able to have that moment of discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, hopefully you don't get to that point. Hopefully, you know, speaking once or twice is enough. But
Yeah.
if it does, power, do it.
Yep.
You know, speak to your store manager if you need to. If
Oh,
you need
yes.
someone to back
Yeah.
you, speak to an adult. You know, speak to whatever it takes. You know, you know, you should never feel bullied or harassed in life,
Yeah.
and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't happen where you're having fun at your own game.
Yeah. When you're there in your own time trying to enjoy yourself,
Yep.
you shouldn't be, you know, not enjoying yourself.
And like I said, if
Yeah.
it's not the right table, find another one. If it's not the right DM, find another one.
No D&D is the same as bad D&D.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
you need
like-
to go through
Yeah.
some bad eggs before you get some good
Yeah.
ones.
Oh,
That's-
I've
yeah.
had bad DMs.
Yeah.
I've had DMs specifically hunt my character.
Yeah.
But I had a DM find out I was going to DM,
Yeah.
so they killed my character.
Yep.
They just didn't like the fact that I
Yeah.
was going to be doing a DM in my own time,
Yeah.
so they killed my character.
Yeah.
I've had that, you know,
Yeah.
and
Awesome.
that disheartened me. That
Yeah.
really did. It, you know.
Yeah. That's why I
but-
became a DM, was because I had some dodgy DMs and I was like, I know I could do better than what you're
Yep.
doing, and like you just
Now you're
ruined it.
forever DM.
Oh, forever DM, but I'm still a player. But like I feel like I'm enjoying it a lot more because I was starting as a player feels a lot easier than starting as a DM, because you start as a DM, you don't know what your players are after,
Yeah.
what your
yeah.
players want.
There's
I agree
also
with that.
that disconnect of, I don't know what it's like to be a player, so how do I like know what it...
I've
A
DM'd
player
for 6
wants-
years. Last
yeah.
time I played a player was, you know, several years ago. Well, you don't know anything new player side. You're all
No.
about the monsters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, don't be afraid to speak to your players or
Yeah.
your DM.
Thank you guys for watching the Party Bond video we've done.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Feel free to like and subscribe if you liked it. If you
Yeah.
didn't, then don't. And if you don't, then please leave a comment below. Give a thumbs down. We're okay with that. But if you're going to do that, please leave a comment so we can work on the content that you didn't like.
When new, it only takes 30 seconds to tell us why we're bad, and whatever you tell us, we'll try and fix, because we are wanting to improve,
Yep.
and, you know, because we're new at this, and every bit of feedback helps.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a good comment the last week before. Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a good comment last week.
Yeah.
We've tried to act upon their suggestions. So if you watch again, we'd appreciate
Yep.
a bit of feedback of what you thought from the
Yeah.
changes we've
Yeah.
made. But yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for watching, and we'll see you next time.